Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. Why not you? You see, success isn't reserved for the lucky. Greatness doesn't come knocking just because you wish for it. Every legend, every leader, every history maker had a moment where they looked in the mirror and asked themselves, why not me? Dreams have a way of defining the course of our lives. They shape our ambitions, push our limits, and reveal what we are truly capable of. But here's the truth. If your dream doesn't make your heart race, if it doesn't challenge the very foundation of who you are, then it's simply not big enough. Comfort is the enemy of growth, and too many people settle for what feels safe rather than reaching for what seems impossible. The world is filled with individuals who had potential but chose the easy road, who had talent but let fear dictate their path. Don't be one of them. A dream worth chasing should make you question your own ability at times. It should make you feel like you're stepping into unfamiliar territory, where the outcome is uncertain and the journey unpredictable. That's where true growth happens. Fear is not an indicator to stop. It's a sign that you're on the right path. The greatest achievements in history were accomplished by people who dared to dream beyond their circumstances, who looked at their limitations and still pressed forward. They were not exempt from doubt, failure, or struggle, but they refused to let those obstacles define them. Settling is easy. It's convenient. It's what most people do because it requires no risk, no discomfort, no sacrifice. It's choosing a job that pays the bills but doesn't fulfill you. It's accepting relationships that drain you instead of elevate you. It's putting your passions on the shelf because pursuing them would demand too much effort, but deep down you know that settling comes at a price. It steals your potential. It robs you of the life you were meant to live. The regret of never trying is far heavier than the weight of failure. Think about the people you admire, the innovators, the game changers, the ones who disrupted the norm. They weren't fearless. They acted in spite of their fear. They understood that failure is not the end but a stepping stone. Every time they stumbled, they got back up. Every rejection, every setback, every moment of doubt was fuel to keep going. They didn't settle for mediocrity because they knew they were meant for more. And so are you. The only difference between those who achieve greatness and those who don't is the willingness to keep going when it's hard, to keep believing when doubt creeps in, and to keep pushing even when the road seems endless. Your dream should be so big that it scares you. It should excite you and terrify you at the same time. That feeling isn't a warning to back away. It's proof that you're on the right track. So when fear whispers that you're not capable, when the world tells you to settle, when the road ahead looks too difficult, remind yourself why you started. Remind yourself that playing small will never satisfy you. Refuse to settle because your dream, your big dream, is waiting for you to chase it. Failure is often misunderstood. Society conditions us to believe that failing is something to be ashamed of, something that defines our limits rather than expands them. But the truth is, failure is not the opposite of success. It is an essential part of it. Every great achievement, every moment of triumph, every story of resilience has failure woven into its foundation. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not the absence of failure, but the ability to rise after falling. Every setback is not a signal to stop. It's a setup for a comeback. Think of the greatest athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, and visionaries. Their journeys are filled with moments of defeat, rejection, and frustration. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, was cut from his high school team. Steve Jobs was fired from the very company he helped create. Oprah Winfrey was told she wasn't fit for television. If they had accepted failure as the final chapter, the world would have never known their greatness. But they didn't stop. They learned, they grew, they kept moving. Failure is a teacher, not an enemy. It reveals weaknesses we need to strengthen, mistakes we need to correct, and paths we need to reconsider. It sharpens us, making us more prepared for the success that lies ahead. Without failure, there is no real growth. Imagine a life where everything came easy, where there were no obstacles, no challenges, no struggles. There would be no depth to success, no appreciation for progress, no resilience developed along the way. The struggle is what makes success meaningful. The key is to shift your perspective. Instead of seeing failure as an endpoint, see it as a lesson. Instead of letting setbacks discourage you, let them fuel your determination. Every time you fall, you have two choices: stay down or get back up. The ones who win are the ones who refuse to quit. They embrace failure as a necessary step in their journey, understanding that every no brings them closer to a yes, every wrong turn leads to a better direction, and every disappointment builds the strength needed for the road ahead. Growth happens in the moments when things don't go as planned. It happens in the late nights when you question if you're good enough. It happens when doors close, forcing you to knock on new ones. It happens when you fall and make the decision to rise again. Success is not about avoiding failure, it's about using it. The comeback is always greater than the setback, but only if you choose to keep going. The only true failure is giving up. Everything else is just part of the process. So when life knocks you down, when things don't go your way, when the world tells you that you can't, stand up, dust yourself off, and move forward. Because failure is not your ending, it's just the beginning of your comeback. Doubt is a silent dream killer. It doesn't announce itself with a loud crash or a dramatic failure. It creeps in quietly, whispering reasons why you can't, why you shouldn't, why you're not enough. It plants seeds of hesitation, making you question your ability, your potential, and your worth. Unlike failure, which at least comes from taking action, doubt paralyzes you before you even begin. It convinces you to stay in your comfort zone, to lower your expectations, to settle for less than what you're capable of. And because of that, doubt has destroyed more dreams than failure ever could. The most dangerous part of doubt is that it often disguises itself as logic. It tells you to be realistic, to play it safe, to wait for the right time. But the right time never comes because doubt will always find another reason to delay your dreams. It makes you overthink, second guess, and talk yourself out of opportunities before you even try. People with immense talent, intelligence, and creativity have let doubt keep them stuck, never fully stepping into their greatness simply because they convinced themselves they weren't ready, weren't worthy, or weren't good enough. The truth is, belief in yourself is the foundation of success. It's easy to believe when things are going well, when people support you, when the path is clear. But real belief, the kind that changes lives, happens when no one else sees your vision, when the odds are against you, when you're the only one in your corner. It's in those moments that you must stand firm, because if you don't believe in yourself, why should anyone else? The world responds to confidence. It follows those who walk with certainty, even if they don't have all the answers yet. Think of the people who changed history. They weren't the ones who waited for permission or validation. They were the ones who moved forward despite doubt, despite rejection, despite the voices telling them they couldn't. They believed in their ideas, their talents, and their ability to create something bigger than themselves. Every great inventor, artist, entrepreneur, and leader had moments where doubt tried to stop them, but they chose belief instead. And because of that choice, they made an impact that lasted far beyond their lifetime. Doubt will never disappear completely. It will always be there, waiting for moments of weakness to creep back in. The key is to push through it, to act in spite of it, to remind yourself that no one who ever achieved anything great did so without facing doubt first. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't talent or luck. It's the decision to believe, even when it's hard. Your dreams don't die because of failure. They die when you stop believing they're possible. So when doubt tries to steal your potential, silence it with action. Take the risk, make the move, bet on yourself. Because the only thing standing between you and your dreams is whether you believe in them enough to chase them. Motivation is a powerful force, but it is also fleeting. It comes in waves, sparked by a great speech, an inspiring story, or a surge of excitement when you set a new goal. In those moments, you feel unstoppable, ready to take on any challenge. But what happens when that feeling fades? What happens when the excitement wears off, when the obstacles pile up, when the work becomes repetitive and exhausting? That is where most people stop. They wait for motivation to return, hoping for another spark to reignite their passion. But the truth is, success doesn't belong to those who only act when they feel like it. It belongs to those who show up every single day, no matter what. It belongs to those who choose discipline over motivation. Discipline is what separates the dreamers from the achievers. Anyone can start something when they feel inspired, but few have the commitment to keep going when the excitement fades. Discipline is waking up early to train when you'd rather sleep. It's working on your craft even when no one is watching. It's making progress, no matter how small, even on the days when you feel like giving up. The most successful people in the world aren't the ones who always feel motivated. They are the ones who have built habits that keep them moving forward, even when motivation is nowhere to be found. Think about an athlete preparing for a championship. They don't just train when they feel good. They train when they're sore, when they're tired, when the weather is bad, when their mind tells them to take a break. They show up because showing up is what builds consistency, and consistency is what builds results. The same principle applies to any area of life, whether it's business, education, fitness, or personal growth. The ones who achieve the highest levels of success are not necessarily the most talented, but they are the ones who refuse to quit. Discipline requires sacrifice. It means doing what needs to be done, even when it's uncomfortable. It means pushing through boredom, frustration, and doubt. It means staying committed to the process, not just the outcome. Many people chase success because they love the idea of it, but few are willing to endure the grind that comes with it. They want the rewards without the struggle, the results without the work. But true success is earned, not given. It is built through small, consistent actions taken day after day, year after year. The key to long-term success is mastering the ability to work without relying on motivation. You will not always feel like doing what is necessary, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that you do it anyway. The difference between those who make it and those who don't is simple. The ones who make it keep going. They don't wait for motivation to find them. They create habits that ensure they move forward regardless of how they feel. In the end, discipline is what turns dreams into reality. Too many people spend their lives waiting for the right time, the right opportunity, the right set of circumstances to take action. They tell themselves they'll start when they feel ready, when they have more money, when they have more experience, when life slows down. But the truth is, there is no perfect moment. There never has been and there never will be. Life doesn't pause while you wait for everything to align. The longer you hesitate, the more time you lose, and before you know it, years have passed, and the dreams you once had are nothing more than distant thoughts. Every person who has ever achieved greatness had reasons to wait, but they didn't. They didn't wait for permission, for validation, or for the stars to align. They took action despite the uncertainty, despite the fear, despite not having all the answers. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't that they had better timing, it's that they made the most of the time they had. They understood that hesitation is the enemy of progress, and action, no matter how small, is the only way forward. If not now, then when? When will you finally start writing that book, launching that business, taking that trip, learning that skill? If you keep telling yourself, someday, that day will never come. Life doesn't wait. Opportunities don't sit around forever. The longer you delay, the harder it becomes to start. The more you tell yourself you need more time, the more comfortable you become with inaction. And comfort is dangerous. It keeps you stuck, convincing you that playing it safe is better than taking the risk. But what's the bigger risk? Failing or never trying at all? If not you, then who? You have everything you need to take the first step. You may not feel ready, but no one ever does. Readiness is a myth. Confidence doesn't come from waiting, it comes from doing. The people who inspire you, the ones who have made an impact, they were once in your shoes. They had doubts, fears, and insecurities, but they didn't let those things stop them. They understood that if they didn't take action, someone else would. The world is full of people with potential, but only a few have the courage to act on it. Will you be one of them? The only way to create the future you want is to start now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel more prepared, now. You don't have to have everything figured out. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to start. Because every great accomplishment begins with a single step, and the only thing standing between you and your dream is the decision to go after it. So stop waiting, stop overthinking, stop doubting. The time is now, and the person to do it is you. Maybe you've been told you're not good enough. Maybe you've failed before. Maybe life hit you so hard, you started believing the lies that you can't rise again. But I came here to tell you something today. You are enough. You have what it takes. You were built for this. I won't stand here and tell you it'll be easy. Oh no, success demands sacrifice. It demands late nights, early mornings, and the kind of discipline most people run away from. But you're different. You don't back down. You don't fold. You don't settle. You've got a gift inside you. Yes, you. The question is, will you let fear bury it, or will you stand up and use it? Let today be the day you stop making excuses. Let today be the day you stop waiting for permission. Let today be the day you claim what's yours. Because if not now, then when? If not you, then who? It's your time. Go get it.